Hi dear masters, today is lesson 14. Topic is special text evaluation for the first course master students, presented by xorijiy. The source of the material taken from David Bonami's Technical English course book. Level is upper intermediate level. You can find this page on 90 or 91, and whether you can download the book and work on it with the full format of audio scripts. The main part of this lesson project. So we are now working in distances, why we cannot make it some groups, but even if so, we can work on this project individually. Let's discuss it and desert water system, how it works, the process of circulation water, and further information will be given for this project, for this process. So let's observe the process. From the left side you can start if you want, or from the right side. First thing, we should find out where it begins, and then we can go further step by step as a systematic process. So as it is visible, it starts from this part, from the left side of this project. Let's analyze everything. Here is given surface seawater pump from sea. Here is given deep seawater return, freshwater tank to keep, fan system, condenser, reverse seawater heated on roof or porous cardboard, cooled humidified air, front evaporate. Okay, systematically everything is given. Now we should analyze this project. First of all, this technology used in a seawater greenhouse consists of two simple evaporators. They are cardboard and basic condenser. So cardboard is given and condenser is here. Two basic elements are the major element of this system: cardboard system and condenser. Okay. First of all, seawater is here on the deep side of the place, Earth. Seawater is pumped and to the greenhouse roof above the front evaporator, and the wind blows through the greenhouse assisted by simple fan. So it is pumped this way to the top, and wind making it move to the next side, blow through the greenhouse, wind blowing this water. Then, so water is here. Having been pumped to the top of the greenhouse, seawater trickles down to the cardboard of the front evaporator and evaporators. So it is here. Evaporators cooling and humidifying the air inside the greenhouse. Cooling system is here, heating system is here. So circulation of the water came to the evaporator. Then the air heats up as it travels across greenhouse. So heating is here till 45 Celsius degree, and until it reaches the rear evaporator. So it reached the evaporator. Here, having been heated by the sun is from the top. More seawater trickles down to the cardboard evaporator. And saturating or filling up the air with water vapor. So water vapor will be here. So the last process is the warm supersaturated air then passes through the condenser. So this water passes through the condenser, and where the vapor condenses into fresh water, which flows down to an underground tank that stores it until it is needed. So it is keeping fresh water place. So it is the main process description of this desert water system. Now we should read this exercise, put the graph in the correct order, check your IDs in one. Further, you can go back to the picture and order this all information. And grammar part of the lesson connected with the perfect tense or perfect participle phrase. The main form of this perfect, as you know, has construction. Plus, after have this construction, we need participle phrases like have has been, have has done, have has learned, and so on. Third form of the word. But have been done form is the passive form of the present perfect form. So, linking each group of sentences into single sentence. Use participle as about, plus, linkers such which, that, before. So they're given complex sentence. Your task is to connect them by using these linkers. Listen to the presentation, answer these questions. Okay, it is time for listening. Now we'll put listening track and you will listen and answer this question. What was the objective of pilot project when it was first started? To what extent was the project successful? Then we should listen again and complete these criteria. Of course, they're given one project with the water. Second will be totally another project, but the same structures you should fill in, like criteria part, evaluation overall. First, about the water you will complete from the graph given in the picture you're seeing. Then the same criteria evaluation overall for the next project.
I'm going to talk about graphene. Now, graphene consists of a single atomic layer of carbon. As you know, carbon is the base for DNA and all life on Earth, and can exist in several different forms. The most common form of carbon is graphite, which consists of stacked sheets of carbon with a hexagonal, six-sided structure. So, how do you make graphene? Have a look at this slide of a piece of graphite. You can see that they've sliced off 2 flakes or slices of graphite from the block, and there they are on the right-hand side. These are 2 10 nanometer flakes. Each one is 30 carbon atoms thick, or perhaps I should say 30 carbon atoms thin. Now, look at this next slide. Here you can see how graphene is made up of an atomic scale network of carbon atoms, and it clearly shows the six-sided structure of each carbon atom. When we talk later about transparency, you can understand why. The new material graphene has a number of interesting mechanical and electrical properties. It's naturally very thin. It's a transparent conductor. It's much stronger than steel and is very stretchable and flexible. The thermal and electrical conductivity are both very high, and it can be used as a flexible conductor. With new industrial fabrication methods, it's possible to fabricate sheets 70 centimeters wide. Let's come on now to some applications. Since graphene is a transparent conductor, it can be used in touchscreens, light panels, and solar cells. Among several possible applications for the future, we can include flexible electronics and gas sensors. In the future, new types of composite materials based on graphene could also be used in satellites and aircraft, mainly because of their great strength and low weight. I'll now give you some details about its specific properties. First, strength. Graphene has a breaking strength of 42 newtons per metre. Got that? 42 newtons per metre. Graphene is more than 100 times stronger than the strongest steel. Have a look at this slide of a happy cat in a hammock, or very fine net tied between 2 trees. You could place a cat weighing about 4 kilos in this 1 square metre hammock before it would break. This brings us to the density of graphene. Go back to our very fine net, or hammock, measuring 1 square metre and made from graphene. It would weigh 0.77 milligrams. Milligrams, not grams. The hammock, it's so fine it's almost invisible, would weigh less than 1 milligram, which is the same weight as one of the cat's whiskers. Makes you think. Next, optical transparency. Graphene is almost transparent, as we saw in the earlier slide, and absorbs only 2.3% of the light intensity. It's colourless. Conductivity. Graphene has a higher conductivity than copper. Thermal conductivity. Graphene conducts heat 10 times better than copper. I see we've got a little time left before the end, so are there any questions?
So let's continue our lesson. There is successful language part, necessity in the past for necessary had to or had to be, needed to be done. Unnecessary didn't have to, need to do, and so on. So you need to look through these bold phrases. Rewrite these sentences to give the same meaning using the word in brackets, but not the one in italics. It was essential for us to make the system as simple as possible. It was example. The second, from 1st to 6th, you need to rewrite yourself. Of course, in bracket words, it will be for your usage. Home task. Write a concise evaluation report on dessert water pilot project using these headings. Use language from the language box above and on opposite page where appropriate. So the structure is given: introduction, project, objective, technology, criteria, evaluation, conclusion. You can use previous slides to complete this, and the bracket definition will help you to complete this task. Thank you for attention.